Raj, proceed with Caution Blog. My question to you, Trip, is you talked about on Beautiful Life the question of sanctity of life. What do you think it takes as far as like the black community to make this more of a taboo subject, but we don't really talk about it in the pulpits or among black leaders? How can we make it more a big deal that it needs to be?
Yeah, I think that's the job of the leaders in our communities. And you know, I'm a Christian, and I think that the local church is the main organization. It's the main place God is working in the world, the main people He's using in the world. So I think the leaders, especially pastors in our churches, have to impact our communities by reminding them how precious every single life is. Just because a life is still in the womb doesn't mean it's less precious. So I think that takes a lot of good leadership and leading people, helping people to understand that. And then I think it also takes, from the church side, people not only saying, hey, this is a wrong thing, but I think it also takes compassion. I think it takes serving young ladies who find themselves with pregnancies that were unintended. I think it takes Christian families adopting children, saying, hey, we're willing to adopt your child. Please don't end this life. So I think it takes a lot of leadership and helping people understand how precious life is. And I think it takes a lot of action in serving those who find themselves in those positions.
Okay.
John Mars, Unfolding Gospel. I was going to ask you, you had mentioned in that mini documentary of The Good Life that this was going to be probably your last Unashamed tour. Knowing that, what changes have you made to your set? What have you done to your set to make this as best as you can possible?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that I've done anything in my set that I wouldn't have done otherwise. Just because my philosophy is I always, especially when these tours come up, I always want to give people the best show possible. So if anything, it fuels that up in me a little bit more. Like, hey, this could be the last one. I think it could have a difference in how I feel out there on the stage, and that I feel like this is a special season of my life that won't be there forever, and I want to have a good time, man. This is fun. You know what I'm saying? I get to rock stages, I get to rock shows, I get to do music that I enjoy, and I get to lift up Jesus and worship Jesus with thousands of people in all kinds of places. And I just want to take that in and enjoy it, and I want to keep being faithful, keep giving people good shows. So try to give people good shows, try to throw in little surprises here and there. So we'll see, man.
Chris Thompson, WXU Radio. Just want to know, rumor has it this is the end of Trip the Artist. So what's next for Trip Lee if he's not doing music anymore?
Well, as time goes on a little bit, I'll be a little bit clearer about exactly what it's going to look like for me. But like I said in the thing, I'm going to be stepping away from music. Music is no longer going to be the main priority. I don't know. I want to use the word retirement, as in like you'll never hear me ever again. You'll never hear me on a feature ever again, or you'll never hear any of these things. But as time goes on, I'll be a little bit clearer publicly about what it's going to look like. Yeah.
I'm Charlie. I'm with WXL Radio. It's a college campus station, and being a young Christian, it's hard with the temptations surrounding us in college, and just being a fellow young Christian artist and rapper. Can you just give encouragement or any type of advice for other young Christians out there today?
Yeah. You mean for believers in general or for artists?
For both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for believers in general, my advice is always to take in the things that help you get more of Jesus and stay away from the things that keep you away from Jesus. We can give ourselves lots of rules to follow, but I think that's the best rule to follow if it helps you. Now, there's some things that are obviously clear in God's Word, but then there are other things that you just want to, if it helps you get closer to Jesus, then run towards it. If it keeps you away from Jesus, run away from it. For artists, my advice always is be a good artist. Just because you're talking about Jesus does not mean your music can be whack. If you just want to talk about Jesus, then go preach. But if you want to do art, do good art. So strive to be good, have a good team around you, have good people around you who will tell you if you're whack. If your song is whack, you need people to tell you your song is whack. That's a lot of what's made all of us better, is that we're willing to tell each other, like, right, that's not a good song, bro. So it doesn't make the album. Say Trip, that hook is horrible. So it doesn't make the album. I do something different with it. So that's one piece. The other piece is contentment and just striving to be faithful. Our goal was never, I want to hit some Billboard charts. I want to do a giant tour. Our goal was always, I want to be faithful to what I feel like God is calling me to do. And wherever He allows me to do that, I want to be content with that.
My name is Z.
Yeah.
Diverse Unity. We're mentoring young people in music and the arts. We do have some writers, and writing is a process. Can you talk a little bit about your own process? You came out with that book, The Good Life.
So you're talking about writing, like books writing, not music writing?
Both, as a
Both.
writer,
Okay.
period. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
Those processes are pretty different for me, whereas but there's some similarities in that I always want the stuff that I'm writing, whether it's music or books, I want it to be stuff that my soul is filled with, bubbling out. And so as that happens, I might just be on a plane somewhere, and I just think of something and write it down, stuff I'm meditating on. So it takes both, it takes spontaneity and it takes discipline. So it takes me being willing to just write something down when I have an idea. I always want to be in a creative space, being willing to be inspired by anything I'm seeing, something I'm reading, something I'm watching, something I'm listening to, and learning from different people. So to write a book, I read a lot. I think that's part of the reason why I was able to write a book. I read a lot. I learn from good authors. I listen to all music all the time. That's part of why I think I'm able to make good music. I think it's good. That's why I make it. And then it also takes a lot of discipline. It takes sometimes when the inspiration just isn't, it's not really bubbling over. You got to just sit down and make yourself right and keep writing until something hot comes out, whether it be the book or so. It takes discipline as well.
So what's one thing that you can leave with an aspiring writer with?
Well, I think your main goal, if you're trying to write books with Christian content, then I think the main thing is you want to take care of your soul first and foremost, because I think the best writers are those who genuinely have something to say, not people who are skilled at writing and putting good words together. If you don't have anything good to say, then it doesn't mean anything. And it has to be stuff that's bubbling out of your own soul. So I would say take care of your soul first and foremost. And if that leads to you being able to write helpful stuff, then that's a good thing.
That's awesome.
Thanks
I just
a lot,
want to
Luke.
say thank you, Trip, for that book too. It does reach out to people in like different stages of their walk with God.
Praise God.
So it's an awesome.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, Trip, for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah.